Dr. Khalid Malik, the founder, has a PhD in applied linguistics TESOL. He taught at many foreign universities with 25 research papers, 6 books on linguistics, and has a postdoc fellowship abroad. Join Applied Linguistics Group at youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani, or use a QR code to join our Facebook group at How to Avoid Predatory Journals. What is predatory publishing? Predatory publishing is a growing issue in the field of academic publishing. It is an unethical business practice as the predatory publishers do not provide rigorous peer review, manuscript processing, editing, or other publishing services. As a result, predatory publishers may damage the reputation of the researchers and adversely impact their academic careers. In the long run, predatory publishing perpetuates bad research and threatens the integrity of scholarly communication. Predatory journals and publishers are entities that prioritize self-interest at the expense of scholarship and are characterized by false or misleading information, deviation from best editorial and publication practices, a lack of transparency, and/or the use of aggressive and indiscriminate solicitation practices. Grudniewicz et al., 2019. Predatory publishing is generally defined as for-profit open-access journal publication of scholarly articles without the benefit of peer review by experts in the field, or the usual editorial oversight of the journals in question. The stakes are high for academics and the pressure to produce can be overwhelming at times. As a result, the number of predatory journals is growing at an alarming rate. It can be tricky, even for a seasoned scholar, to spot a bogus venue for mobilizing our research and scholarship. It is important that the scholarly community, including authors, institutions, editors, and publishers, support the legitimate scholarly research enterprise, and avoid supporting predatory journals by not publishing in them, serving as their editors or on the editorial boards, or permitting faculty to knowingly publish in them without consequences. Ferris and Winker, 2017. Predatory journal is a term, coined by Jeffrey Beal, to describe publishers who are more concerned with profit than ethics. These journals are scams. They prey on unsuspecting researchers, often targeting third-tier economic areas, and masquerade as legitimate publishers. Predatory journals usually promise rapid review and publication in a leading journal. However, the reality is that these journals often have little to no peer review or editorial contributions before publication, are not indexed in research databases, and cost thousands of dollars to publish with them. Many will not notify the authors of fees until after article acceptance. Some even charge fees at submission. While it can be argued that only the number of publications matter for advancing research careers, not the quality, publishing in these journals could hurt your career. No one will find or read your articles if they are not indexed by the major databases, PubMed, ISI, Medicus, etc. Even if your articles are read, your findings may be dismissed by readers due to them noticing the poor editing and publishing standards of the predatory journal. These articles are often riddled with typos, poor stylistic choices, and appear unprofessional. Predatory journals have infected the open access movement, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to tell legitimate publishers from the nefarious. This has devastating consequences as your research is essentially lost if you publish with a predatory journal. In this article, we outline how to identify and avoid predatory journals. Predatory publishers, also referred to as deceptive publishers, are for-profit entities that attempt to lure academics into publishing in journals that do not follow accepted best practices for scholarly publications. Ultimately, these publishers are motivated by money rather than the publication of high-quality research. Spotting a predatory journal or a predatory conference is becoming increasingly difficult. The purpose of this guide is to help you spot predatory journals and conferences. It also provides resources that can help you assess and evaluate the legitimacy of a journal or conference. Predatory publishers usually send unsolicited email invitations to publish your work. They often address you with the wrong academic title, example Dr. when you are a PhD student. Additionally, the email may be from a person who poses as a member of the editorial board of a legitimate journal, or they may have their own journal supported by a professional-looking website, ISSN, and DOI. They often promote themselves as offering open access publications supported by a peer review process. Predatory publishers adopt dishonest or coercive practices and procedures compared with legitimate journals. A deceptive publisher may publish your work but then disappear, leaving no public record of your published article. Even when they do support a website with published articles, they often request exorbitant fees for publication and may also make up charges for withdrawal or other services. Their communication is meant to both flatter and intimidate, as they pressure you to submit work on a short deadline and pay upfront or before publication. Publishing with a predatory publisher leads to financial loss and harms your professional credibility and reputation, with potential repercussions for tenure and promotion. Therefore, you want to be very careful before engaging with a journal that you do not know for certain is legitimate. Before publishing with any journal, do your due diligence. Common signs of predatory publishers. Red flags. Predatory publishers have many known characteristics and signs. Watch for the following common signs to spot a predatory publisher. Assess the quality of the invitation before you reply. Use of spam emails or flattering emails to solicit articles or direct email requests to submit an article. In common, journal do not ask for journal articles. Email may have typo errors and grammatical mistakes, which is unusual. Journal title may be similar to the reputable journals. The title may look familiar to you as they resemble some reputable journals or publishers. Journal's website. Poor layout and design. No contact us or misleading location of the publisher. False information about location, affiliations, editorial board members. Broad subject scope. Missing standards, DOI, ISSNs. If an impact factor given, is it correct, DOI, ISSNs. No instructions for authors listed. No published article available on the website. Claims to have high impact factor or fake impact factor. May be a new business. Launching many journals at a time. Peer review process. The journal's peer review process or type of peer review is not described or not followed. Fake peer review process. Article processing fee, APC. Charges may not be clearly stated in the website or the email. The charges are hidden until you accept to pay. Timeline. Promise of fast peer review and publication. Lack of transparency about author fees, article processing fee, location. No realistic time frame. Transparency. Publishers' practices and policies are not openly available. They publish on a wide range of topics. Author rights. Author rights is not clearly explained. If open access, do they have Creative Commons license? Editorial board. Listing of fake editorial members. The archive document by Jeffrey Beal consists of criteria which could be used to identify predatory publishers. Additional tips. Have received an email to publish your article for a small fee? Why predatory publishing is harmful. Predatory publishers lure legitimate authors with the promise of quick publication in open access (OA) journals using disreputable practices, such as invoicing authors with unusually high, or low, article processing costs, promising a peer review process that never materializes, fabricating impact factor, and holding submissions hostage so that authors may not publish their work in legitimate, scholarly journals. Predatory publishing delegitimizes scholarship, because it allows people who have little to no credentials to publish erroneous information that mimics scientific research. Heightened awareness and an increased understanding of predatory publishing practices is the only way to ensure the integrity of peer-reviewed academic research and support open access scholarly publishing. Evaluating journal quality. When evaluating the quality of journal, the following principles should be considered. Peer review process. All of a journal's content, apart from any editorial material that is clearly marked as such, shall be subjected to peer review. Peer review is defined as obtaining advice on individual manuscripts from reviewers expert in the field who are not part of the journal's editorial staff. This process, as well as any policies related to the journal's peer review procedures, shall be clearly described on the journal's website. Governing body. Journals shall have editorial boards, or other governing bodies whose members are recognized experts in the subject areas included within the journal's scope. The full names and affiliations of the journal's editors shall be provided on the journal's website. Editorial team contact information. Journals shall provide the full names and affiliations of the journal's editors on the journal's website as well as contact information for the editorial office. Author fees. Any fees or charges that are required for manuscript processing and/or publishing materials in the journal shall be clearly stated in a place that is easy for potential authors to find prior to submitting their manuscripts for review, or explained to authors before they begin preparing their manuscript for submission. Copyright and licensing information shall be clearly described on the journal's website, and licensing terms shall be indicated on all published articles, both HTML and PDFs. Identification of and dealing with allegations of research misconduct. Publishers and editors shall take reasonable steps to identify and prevent the publication of papers where research misconduct has occurred, including plagiarism, citation manipulation, and data falsification or fabrication, among others. In no case shall a journal or its editors encourage such misconduct, or knowingly allow such misconduct to take place. In the event that a journal's publisher or editors are made aware of any allegation of research misconduct relating to a published article in their journal, the publisher or editor shall follow COPE's guidelines, or equivalent, in dealing with allegations. Ownership and management. Information about the ownership and/or management of a journal shall be clearly indicated on the journal's website. Publishers shall not use organizational names that would mislead potential authors and editors about the nature of the journal's owner. Website. A journal's website, including the text that it contains, shall demonstrate that care has been taken to ensure high ethical and professional standards. Name of journal. The journal name shall be unique and not be one that is easily confused with another journal or that might mislead potential authors and readers about the journal's origin or association with other journals. Conflicts of interest. A journal shall have clear policies on handling potential conflicts of interest of editors, authors, and reviewers, and the policies should be clearly stated. Access. The ways in which the journal and individual articles are available to readers and whether there are associated subscription or pay-per-view fees shall be stated. Revenue sources. Business models or revenue sources, for example, author fees, subscriptions, advertising, reprints, institutional support, and organizational support, shall be clearly stated or otherwise evident on the journal's website. Advertising shall state their advertising policy if relevant, including what types of ads will be considered, who makes decisions regarding accepting ads and whether they are linked to content or reader behavior, online only, or are displayed at random. Publishing schedule. The periodicity at which a journal publishes shall be clearly indicated. Archiving. A journal's plan for electronic backup and preservation of access to the journal content, for example, access to main articles via Clocks or PubMed Central, in the event a journal is no longer published, shall be clearly indicated. Direct marketing. Any direct marketing activities, including solicitation of manuscripts that are conducted on behalf of the journal, shall be appropriate, well-targeted, and unobtrusive. Criteria for determining predatory publishers. Do not follow accepted scholarly publishing best practices. Low publishing quality with many errors in spelling and grammar. False claims about services offered, example, peer review, editorial services, preservation. Offer the chance to publish research that has already been published in legitimate publications. Unethical business practices, such as spamming researchers to submit papers. Publish everything that is submitted. Promise rapid publication. Pay little to no attention to serious ethical violations, such as fabrication of data and plagiarism. Invitation to publish sent by email, spam, flattering you and/or flattering the journal. No contact email address or non-professional email address, Gmail, Yahoo. Poor grammar and syntax. Promise of an acceptance decision and very rapid publication. No transparency on the peer review process. Very short deadlines given to reviewers, x 5 to 14 days. The publisher is not, or hardly, identifiable. No ethical guidelines, or guidelines common to all journals of the same publisher. Articles or manuscripts must be submitted by email. The publisher has a wide range of journals, many of which are on the same subject and may have very similar names. Some journals do not yet have issues, or only one issue published. Presence of dummy metrics warning. Some predatory reviews have an impact factor, or display false IFS. Editorial committee non-existent or very restricted. Non-expert members of the journal theme. Inaccurate or non-existent institutional affiliations. Website not functional, pages inaccessible. Publication costs, APC, not apparent at time of submission. Very high or, on the contrary, very low publication costs, APC. Acceptance of the majority of articles submitted. Tools and checklists. Evaluate journal using one or more of the following tools and checklists. Think, check, submit. It is simple and easy tool to evaluate journals. Principles of transparency and best practice in scholarly publishing. It is based on 16 principles that covers most aspects of scholarly publishing. Researchers can refer to the following websites to decide where to publish their research. Open Access Journal Quality Indicators. The guidelines were created by Grand Valley State University that aims to guide when evaluating open access publishing. Be informed. A checklist from Duke University to assess the quality of a journal or publisher. Journal Evaluation Tool. The rubric and related scoring sheet have been developed by Loyola Marymount to assess journals. Predatory Journals Algorithm. A document from the World Association of Medical Editors, WAME, to provide guidance to help editors, researchers, funders, academic institutions and other stakeholders distinguish predatory journals from legitimate journals. Jane, Journal Author Name Estimator. Paste your abstract to get suggestion of potential journals. Sherpa or Romeo. Is the journal listed here? Search on journal and copyright information. About blacklists. A blacklist identifies sites known or highly suspected to be untrustworthy. Blacklists and whitelists share the same problem in that they attempt to externalize an evaluation process that is best internal, contextual, and iterative. Swager, 2017. Beale's List. Jeffrey Beale, a former librarian, collated a list of potential and possible predatory scholarly open access journals. However, this list was last updated in 2017. Researchers could refer this archived list to find out if the journal or publisher is blacklisted. The list of possible predatory publishers was based on Beale's opinion and it has been continued to be widely used. Potential predatory scholarly open access journals. Potential predatory scholarly open access publishers. Mode, H. F. Lopez-Alescas, C. Guerrero-Boat, V. P. and Moiranigan, F. 2021. Journals in Beale's list perform as a group less well than other open access journals indexed in Scopus, but reveal large differences among publishers. Retraction Watch. Access publishers. Retraction Watch. Access publishers. Retraction Watch is a good resource with updated news related to predatory publishing.it. Tracks latest news and incidents of predatory publishing, plagiarism, falsified data, and peer review scandals. Cabell's Blacklist. Other blacklist of journals. Cabell's Blacklist. Review of Cabell's list in the resources below. Scholarly Kitchen. Nature. DOAJ Blacklist. List of journals which claim to be in DOAJ. Predatory conferences. What are predatory conferences? Predatory conferences exploit and profit from researchers eager to present their research at an international conference. The conferences tend to be poorly organized and low quality, with little or no peer review of submitted research. The conference organizers make money in the form of registration fees. Sometimes, the registrants are informed that the conference has been cancelled, but the registration fees are not refunded. Conferences are designed to share research, network, and to collaborate with peers. Predatory conferences try to take advantage of this by reaching out and promising conferences in exciting locations. The details about the conference are usually very vague and the research topics are very general. They are designed to entice potential attendees into spending money on a conference that doesn't exist. The email invitation for a predatory conference is very similar to a predatory journal one, flattering and intimidating. While some conferences may be expensive to attend to, they often offer low-cost options for students or society members. Legitimate academic conferences sometimes also offer to cover part of the costs for the guest or keynote speakers to attend the meeting, conference. Predatory conferences, on the other hand, invite you to present your work while paying high fees with no option to lower costs. Additionally, they may invite you to be part of a discussion panel or a roundtable with no offer to cover costs. Questions to consider. Consider the following checklist of questions by Andy Nobbs, permission granted by Andy Nobbs for reuse, which he shared in Author ID before you register for your next conference. Conference subject and scope. Have your peers and senior colleagues in your field heard of, or attended this conference? Would they recommend it? Is the content of the conference relevant to your field? Is the topic of the conference focused enough for you to A. hear about relevant research and B. meet relevant researchers? For example, an International Conference of Social Sciences, or International Conference on Business and Economics, may be too broad and probably raises questions about the purpose of the conference. Does the conference prioritize the academic value of the conference more than the tourist destination? You should judge the conference on its content rather than its location. If the conference title includes the word international, are you confident that it is a good quality, truly international event? Conference organizers. Who is organizing the conference, and for what reason? Is the goal or theme of the conference clear and specific? Please note that generic phrases such as to promote scientific innovation or to facilitate dissemination of research findings are not specific. Do the organizers seem fully focused on making this a high-quality conference? Or are they involved in multiple events in the same day, a week, a month? If the conference is being hosted by a university or research institution, do they seem like the most appropriate host? Are they also advertising the conference on their website or at their campus? Is the conference organized by a scholarly or non-profit organization who you have heard of? Does this organization list the conference on their website? If the conference is organized by a commercial company, is there a clear partnership with a reputable institution, a society, a research institute, either international or local to the conference? Is there a partnership with a reputable publisher or publication? The answer to most of these questions should be yes. Conference Checker. Conference Checker Tool. This tool by Think, Check, Attend at https://thinkcheckattend.org will help identify predatory conferences. University of Queensland Conference Checker. The tool consists of 14 questions with yes or no answers. It is an adaptation of The Conference Checker by Think. Check. Attend. At https://thinkcheckattend.org. List of predatory conferences. Caltech Libraries List of predatory conferences and conference organizers. KSCN Organizations List of predatory conferences. Flaky Academic Conferences. Flaky Academic Conferences is a blog by Professor David Kay of Penn State University that highlights dubious conferences. Further readings. Grove, J. 2017. Ignorance of predatory conferences means warning signs are missed. Grove, J. 2017. Predatory conferences now outnumber official scholarly events. Nobbs, A. 2017. What are predatory conferences and how can I avoid them? Author AID Team. Pai, M. and Franco, E. 2017. Predatory conferences undermine science and scam academics. Template to withdraw from a predatory journal. Template correspondence with a Predatory Journals editor for article withdrawal. Here is a template for corresponding with a Predatory Journals editor to request for article withdrawal. The template may be adapted as needed to suit your circumstances. You and your co-authors are advised to save copies of all your correspondence with the Predatory Journal. Dear Editor's Name. I am the first corresponding author on the manuscript, title, reference number, submitted to the journal, name of journal. I am contacting you requesting that you withdraw my manuscript, remove it from your server immediately, and never publish it in the future. I and my co-authors hold the copyright to this work. None of us have transferred our copyright to name of publisher, nor have we signed a publication agreement that gives you a license to publish our work. Therefore, should you publish our work, you will be in violation of our copyright. I have no intention of paying a withdrawal or publication fee, and I have no means or mechanisms in which to do so. You do not have the legal authority to post my manuscript on your site. I am again requesting that you withdraw my manuscript from your servers immediately and never publish it in the future. I expect you to follow up with me via email with your explicit acknowledgement of this request. If my work remains on your site, I will find it necessary to enforce my request through additional means. Sincerely. Your name. Lists. Lists of suspected predatory publishers and journals. Beale's list. The original list of predatory publishers compiled by librarian Jeffrey Beale, who once removed this list from the internet due to receiving threats from these publishers. It has now been revived and returned to the internet by others. PredatoryJournals.com. This site runs on user contributions to update the original Beale's list. As anyone can contribute, use this list cautiously. The site runs on GitHub and anyone can use the affordances of that platform to make contributions, suggestions, edits, or add journals and publishers to the list. Note, this site also contains a list of journals which may have been hijacked, meaning that unscrupulous people have stolen their branding and reputation to make alternate imposter web pages for these journals. Quackwatch list of non-recommended periodicals. Compiled by Stephen Barrett, MD for Quackwatch. Journals that falsely state they are indexed in DOAJ. The DOAJ is a list of quality open access journals. Here is a list of journals that falsely state on their websites that they are included in the DOAJ index, when they are not. Lists of quality journals. Directory of Open Access Journals, DOAJ. The DOAJ is a list of quality open access publishers. It conducts quality checks and regularly purges the list of suspected predatory journals. However, due to differing criteria used by the various lists, testing has shown that a small number of journals included in the DOAJ may also appear in the predatory lists above. Web of Science Master Journal List. Web of Science, a database owned by Clarivate Analytics, is known for being selective and only indexing high-quality journals. Check to see whether your journal of interest has been indexed there. Web of Science is an exclusive database, so if your journal is not present, that is not necessarily a bad sign. This is just one more place to check. Journal Ranking Resources. Simago Journal and Country Ranks. Ranking indicators can be used to assess and analyze scientific domains. Journals can be compared or analyzed separately. Country rankings may also be compared or analyzed separately, and journals can be grouped by subject area. Scopus Site Score. This resources uses qualitative as well as quantitative metrics to rank research impact for journals and serials. Red flags. The following lists are adapted from academic journal articles that discuss how to identify predatory journals. If a journal meets a few of these criteria, that does not necessarily prove it is predatory, but it does mean you should closely scrutinize the journal for more red flags. The scope of interest includes unrelated subjects alongside topics in your field. The website contains spelling and grammar errors. Images are distorted or fuzzy, intended to look like something they are not, or which are unauthorized. The homepage language targets authors. The index Copernicus value is promoted on the website. This index has been criticized for ranking predatory journals. Description of the manuscript handling process is lacking. Manuscripts are requested to be submitted via email. Rapid publication is promised. There is no retraction policy. Information on whether and how journal content will be digitally preserved is absent. The article processing a publication charge is very low, example, less than $150. Journals claiming to be open access either retain copyright of published research or fail to mention copyright. The contact email address is non-professional and non-journal affiliated, e.g. at gmail.com or at yahoo.com. The publisher is not a member of any recognized professional organization committed to best publishing practices, like COPE or EASE. The journal is not indexed in well-established electronic databases, like Medline or Web of Science. The publisher claims to be a leading publisher, even though it just got started. The journal and the publisher are unfamiliar to you and all your colleagues. The papers of the journal are of poor research quality, and may not be academic at all, for instance allowing for obvious pseudoscience. There are fundamental errors in the titles and abstracts, or frequent and repeated typographical or factual errors throughout the published papers. The journal website is not professional. The journal website does not present an editorial board or gives insufficient detail on names and affiliations. The journal website does not reveal the journal's editorial office location or uses an incorrect address. The publishing schedule is not clearly stated. The journal title claims a national affiliation that does not match its location, such as American Journal of, while being located on another continent, or includes international in its title while having a single country editorial board. The journal mimics another journal title or the website of said journal. The journal provides an impact factor in spite of the fact that the journal is new, which means that the impact cannot yet be calculated. The journal claims an unrealistically high impact based on spurious alternative impact factors, such as 7 for a bioethics journal, which is far beyond the top notation. The journal website posts non-related or non-academic advertisements. The publisher of the journal has released an overwhelmingly large suite of new journals at one occasion or during a very short period of time. The editor-in-chief of the journal is editor-in-chief also for other journals with widely different focus. The journal includes articles very far outside its stated scope. The journal sends you an unsolicited invitation to submit an article for publication, while making it blatantly clear that the editor has absolutely no idea about your field of expertise. Emails from the journal editor are written in poor language, include exaggerated flattering, everyone is a leading profile in the field, and make contradictory claims, such as you have to respond within 48 hours, while later on saying, you may submit your manuscript whenever you find convenient. The journal charges a submission or handling fee, instead of a publication fee, which means that you have to pay even if the paper is not accepted for publication. The types of submission and publication fees and what they amount to are not clearly stated on the journal's website. The journal gives unrealistic promises regarding the speed of the peer review process, hinting that the journal's peer review process is minimal or non-existent, or boasts an equally unrealistic track record. The journal does not describe copyright agreements clearly or demands the copyright of the paper while claiming to be an open access journal. The journal displays no strategies for how to handle misconduct, conflicts of interests, or secure the archiving of articles when no longer in operation. Applied Linguistics Group uploaded this video for BS English students. Dr. Khalid Malik, the founder, has a PhD in Applied Linguistics TESOL. He taught at many foreign universities with 25 research papers, 6 books on linguistics, and has a postdoc fellowship abroad. Join Applied Linguistics Group at youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani, or use a QR code to join our Facebook group at